All right, ladies and gentlemen, we live, we live, we live. Come on in, come on in. We got to get into this Epstein footage that's been released. This missing Epstein footage that conveniently pops up, and now it's all over the media. They showing Epstein last moments before he hung himself in his cell, supposedly. All right, so now we got Epstein brother speaking out, basically saying he don't believe his brother hung himself in that cell. So we're gonna get into that. We got to get into the footage of Epstein's supposed last moments before, the day before he was found in himself, hung. So we're going to get into that footage as well. So I need y'all to come on in and smash the like button, man. Double tap the screen, like this video, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. All right. So let me pull up the CNN video where they first, came out about the Epstein footage. Um, of his last moments of before he was found hung in his cell. So we're gonna definitely get into this. Conveniently, I don't see. You know what I mean? Basically, his this footage was supposed to be missing. It pops up conveniently, a few years later, and um, and now they claiming that Epstein never had a client list, and they said he committed suicide. But I remember Elon Musk putting shine on it when him and Trump fell out, and he was saying how Trump he feel like Trump was on that Epstein list um as one of his clients. Um and now being as though I feel like Elon Musk put shine on that, it seems like now that the DOJ and the FED had to put something out there to kind of distract us from the real Epstein list because they're claiming there's no Epstein list. They're claiming he had no clients. So you mean to tell me this man was sex trafficking minors to who? To himself? If y'all claiming there's no list and no client list of Epstein, then who the hell was he trafficking the minors to? Why is Ghislaine doing 22 years in a maximum security and y'all and now y'all saying there's no client list? Then who the hell was this nigga trafficking children to then? Man, come on, bro. Let's go ahead and get into this CNN video though. I you know me, whatever mainstream be trying to put out there, bro, I know is a big distraction. So we're gonna get into what they distracting us from because this right here, claiming that there wasn't a list, it's crazy to me. Let's go ahead and
Justice
get into
lead
it
in
though.
Elon Musk's favorite story. A new Justice Department memo reveals that the Justice Department has no evidence that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful people or kept a client list or was murdered in prison.
All right, let me make this point real quick though. So if by possible chance Trump being on the Epstein list coincide with Diddy, if they was to actually have evidence of these people on the Epstein list, I mean, well, the things that's being said about them being on the Epstein list or their ties to Epstein, that actually opens the door for more people to be investigated. Because you be like, all right, if Donald Trump is on the list, then there's more higher up in people that's more important than Trump that's on that list. Some shit that they would never want to get out to the public. So I feel like right now they throwing this to us to basically distract us to make us believe there's no list. See, I think the opposite of when mainstream put this type of shit out. I'm like, well, it's the opposite when y'all put this out. Y'all saying there's no list, but the whole time they've been talking about the Epstein list. Now the DOJ claiming they don't have there's no evidence of an Epstein client list. I believe it's an Epstein client list, and they just don't want us to find, people, because people be doing they thorough investigations with shit and be getting close to shit. But then you have niggas like Elon Musk actually shedding light on the Epstein shit by him and Trump falling out. All right, so let's continue, man.
The memo, first reported by Axios, is a sharp turn from the Trump administration's insistence that there was much more to uncover. Even Attorney General Pam Bondi pushed that theory while in office. Take a look.
Facts. That's another thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But today, the White House says she didn't really mean to suggest that the list itself was on her desk.
She was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
Joining us now to discuss CNN's Evan Pettis and Axios' Alex Eisenstadt, who broke the story on Axios. And Alex,
that's the thing. That she claimed that they had the Epstein file of the Epstein list, and she had it on her desk, basically waiting for that to be clear, right? So how did they go from there's an Epstein list? Now this is being them reporting right out of the White House that there's an Epstein list, and so how they go from there's no Epstein list? I mean, from there's an Epstein list till no DOJ saying there's no evidence of an Epstein list. Like, do they be thinking the public stupid or something? And I think they bank on the people being stupid and not remembering what the F go on, but they forgot this is, come on, man. People be out here connecting the dots. So I believe there's a real Epstein list. I believe the Diddy shit was tied to it as far as the distraction of us finding out or even questioning and asking where's the real Epstein list at. And then Elon Musk, he didn't help them no better by shedding light on that shit on Twitter when he said Trump, watch out for Trump, because he you know, of the Jeffrey Epstein list shit. So let's continue, y'all.
I have to say,
it's crazy
I'm with
to
the
me,
people
bro.
that still have questions about this. I kind of don't buy the nothing to see here. And I don't know that the Justice Department helped their case. They released this video. Let's show it. It shows no one entered the area surrounding Epstein's cell in the hours before he died. But there's something significant about this videotape. What is it?
Well, here's one thing that some people on the internet are picking up on, which is that there is about a minute missing between 11
we're gonna get into that too.
58 seconds and 12 a.m. the night that Epstein was apparently killed or died.
Yeah, so how that's another thing though. So they put out this 10-hour surveillance video of this one camera angle, right? That we supposed to believe that, and now they show them walking past with a man with white hair. They saying it's Epstein. Like, how the F we know? We supposed to know that's really Epstein. That could be any white man with white hair you got walking past the damn footage. Now, how are we supposed to know that? And then you got one damn camera angle. There's a lot of things taking place in the camera angle. People coming upstairs, dropping off laundry. The guards walking back and forth. Now they're claiming the guards was asleep all night, and that's why he was able to hang himself. They did no head count, but because they saying that the guards were asleep. But this footage clearly shows the guards getting up, walking back and forth, doing shit. Some of them coming upstairs to this door 46, walking through it, leaving notes at the front of the door. Like, I watched the footage, and it's just a lot of shit going on in the footage. I believe this shit is a distraction anyway, but let's continue, y'all. I need y'all to double tap the screen, like this video. Let's continue.
Is that he died by suicide? That's right. What then Trump Attorney General Bill Barr said a few years ago.
Died, and so now there are, it's going to intensify more conspiracy theories about what happened the night of Epstein's death, and of course you have the DOJ and FBI now, which are trying to extinguish a lot of these conspiracy theories, but that's not happened today online. If you look at the MAGAverse, they're inflamed about this.
Well, look, I mean, no offense to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, but they had a hand in igniting some of these conflagrations. I mean, In February, the White House invited these conservative MAGA influencers to get a first look at the declassified documents related to the Epstein case. Look at that, all those binders. They gave them binders that said Epstein Files Phase 1. And Evan, at the time, you wrote that this is...
You mean Epstein distraction file Phase 1? Because they ain't put the real Epstein list in there. They're saying there's no list, no client list.
is something of a
Crazy,
self-own for the Justice Department. Why?
Crazy,
It absolutely was. Those binders, those documents in those binders, all of that was public for years. And that's what the influencers found out. When they opened it up, they're like, wait a minute, all of this stuff has been out there. And the Justice Department could have helped themselves and perhaps reduce the embarrassment if they had just picked up the phone and talked to some of the prosecutors in New York and some of the FBI agents who had done this case, and they could have told them all of this stuff has been out there. But you know why they didn't do that is because they fired all these people. So they didn't have anybody to talk to, right? And so, this is something that they have absolutely fanned. And so now they own this. And that is part of the problem.
One big
They've been
cover-up.
struggling with what to do about this, Jake, for some time, because agents spent overnight shifts redacting these documents, and then what they ended up with were pages that were filled with blackout.
Yeah.
They cannot release it because it would re-victimize some of the victims. Under federal law, there's Privacy Act. So that's what they were facing. They were realizing that they were going to release a bunch of black pages that would have only fanned the conspiracy.
And Alex,
And a bunch of black pages with crossed out names on there that they don't want to get out on the Epstein list. This right here is a prime example of media hit pieces where they need the people distracted, because how conveniently the Epstein footage from inside the prison is released. Now they saying there was supposed to be missing footage magically appears, and they said Epstein, from the first time Epstein tried to hang himself in the cell, because they saying he could try to commit suicide before his actual death, right? So conveniently these footages pop up, Epstein files, they release, and now they claiming there's no client list. There's no client list. So that makes, like I said, then who the hell was he supposedly trafficking these minors to then? These underage children. Who was he trafficking them to if there's no Epstein list? Now they got flight logs of people flying back and forth from the island to Miami to New York, and flying back and forth on this flight list. So you mean to tell me there's no client list? But we understand why they're never going to put the client list out, because there's people on there, some very powerful people that's on those, that will be on the client list. You see what I'm saying? Like, of course they would never put that out there. They would never expose that. Only thing they exposing is what they want us to see and what they want us to believe, because they specialize in zigging and zagging. You see what I'm saying? Like, they want us, while they zigging, they basically got us zagging, because they don't want to put the real truth out there, because if they have to, then that opens the door up for a lot of people to be investigated, higher level people. We ain't talking about some Diddy shit and some, you know what I mean, some Tyler Perry shit and none of that small time celebrity shit. We talking about people that really control shit. I mean, you have Epstein. It was revealed Epstein was a Mossad agent for Israel, basically, right? He's a Mossad agent. He's flying people back and forth from his private island to Miami to New York and all these various other places. And when he's convicted of sex trafficking underage children, Now they claiming there's no client list. But we understand why. Like I said, there's certain people on that list, they do not want it to get out. There's probably world leaders on there. And I believe he was using that shit to blackmail people. I believe there's footage of a lot of these people in act. I believe he has, come on, he's a Mossad agent. You think they ain't using that to blackmail certain people? This shit is cutthroat. It's cutthroat. You think they ain't gonna use footage to blackmail people, world leaders, and I mean judges and people in higher places that could actually push the pen and make shit happen? You mean to tell me you think they're not gonna use that to blackmail these people? Get them in uncompromising positions? Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, Ashley J. A lot of people saying that Prince Andrew is on that list. They saying shit. They saying Harry even was on that damn list, allegedly. It's all alleged. This is all alleged. This is all, conspiracy theories. This is not real. We just reporting on it. Yeah, yeah. They said Andrew was on that joint. Facts. So, well, let's continue, man, because I definitely want to get into Epstein brother speaking out. Mark Epstein. This is Jeffrey Epstein's younger brother. He speaks out, so we gonna definitely get into that because his brother don't believe he hung himself in that cell, and none of us in the public never believe that shit either. So,
a lot of people in the MAGA world are very upset, very disappointed with Attorney General Bondi, very upset with the director and deputy director of the FBI, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Mike Lindell of My Pillow fame posted on X, as trusted voices like Bongino, Kash, and Bondi align with the official story, many are asking who's still willing to demand real answers. Laura Loomer, who I only cite because apparently she has influence with President Trump.
Gets people fired.
She got National Security Council people fired. She posted, if Attorney General Bondi doesn't get fired over this Epstein memo, people are going to be so black-pilled. They were obviously hoping for a different outcome. And I have to say, Alex, I find it hard to believe that we still don't know so much about this case.
Yeah, and I don't think the conspiracy theories are ever going to stop. But big picture, this is sort of what happens when you have the MAGA influencerization of the DOJ and the FBI, right? You put Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, who before going into the FBI were MAGA influencers.
Talking about this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now they come in and their high expectations, they were going to deliver. They came up empty-handed. And so there's a lot of anger about that. And the MAGA universe is not happy today.
Well, after months of teasing the release of new information about the accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged client list, the Justice Department, well, they're now saying that no evidence or such a list actually existed, or that Epstein was murdered.
Sure.
The DOJ saying it does not plan to release any new documents on the matter, and writing today in a memo, quote, there was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against
Of course, Epstein. There's no Epstein list. Of course. Y'all want us to believe all that. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate any investigation against uncharged third party. Of course it isn't, because that opens up the exposure to higher up individuals that they would never want to be put in the public unless they want to, unless they're being sacrificed in the media. You know what I'm saying? Because they will throw one of their own under the bus. Not Epstein is one of them. Shit, Epstein is one of the people that is the face of that shit. He's the fall guy, a disposable agent, a fall guy. they think the buck stops at Epstein, and Epstein is the only one that trafficking minors and women, and yeah, they want us to believe that the buck stops at Epstein. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I definitely need y'all to double tap the screen like this video, man.
Charged parties. Joining me now is CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez and CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams. Evan, you've reported on this for, I think, years on some level now.
Right.
Tell us how this memo kind of came to be, how this case became such a fixation.
Well, the case became a fixation in part because the Attorney General and other people around President Trump have fanned the flames of this conspiracy, that there was some bombshell hidden in these Epstein documents. And everyone has known, certainly a lot of the documents that the Justice Department has been looking at, they've been out in public already for years, because you remember some of his co-defendants went on trial after his 2019 suicide. So this is no surprise to anyone who's been paying attention, but for people inside the Justice Department who certainly encourage this kind of belief out there, they're now having to admit that there's really no there. And you see in the memo, it says the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions, or that he was murdered. Again, all of these things were known. It's just that there was a certain part of the internet, and certainly on Twitter, a lot of MAGA believers who believed that there was something here that was being hidden.
Yeah, and look, the White House, I think on some level, was active participants at some elements of those corners of the internet. What did the White House say about this case earlier today?
Well, today they had to react to the fact that just a couple of months ago, the Attorney General on Fox News seemed to indicate that there was a client list sitting on her desk. And now what they're saying, what she's referring to is just that she was looking at the larger number of documents that were out there. And again,
sure,
where they brought in all the MAGA influencers to look at these binders, which ended up being documents that had been on the internet and had been available publicly for years.
Elliot, before I ask you a question, I want to play that sound that Evan was just talking about. Take a listen.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed, because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So
why are they conveniently releasing all these files now? The JFK file, the Epstein file, because they need this distraction in the media. Like we said, last thing they need the media, last thing they need the public doing is focusing on this new financial system. That's the last thing they need this public to put focused on. So they want to keep releasing these files, the MLK files, the JFK files, and all these different files and shit, just to keep our asses distracted. The landing on the moon shit and all that, they release files from that. Because they really need to control the narrative, y'all. They really need to control the algorithms. They really need to control, the narrative and the information that's out. Because if you flood the internet with a bunch of bullshit, because they know people's gonna report on this shit. They know people's gonna blog about it, report on it. Every mainstream media gonna pick it up. So what that does is throw us off of the real information, and it kind of buries, the information so deep that you really gotta dig, and you really gotta be able to connect the dots, because being as though they flooding us with a bunch of bullshit, it's basically, making it even more harder for you to actually start doing real research and connecting the dots. So they're going to keep putting all this bullshit out. They're going to keep dropping all these different files. They're going to keep us focused on all this Epstein shit, all these damn sex trafficking and civil lawsuits. And listen, it's going to be nonstop. This shit is going to be nonstop. Y'all know, y'all going to see.
Have you seen
I don't
anything
see.
that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Elliot
okay.
used to work for the Justice Department, and Attorney General is saying that, and then a memo like this
Ain't no never
coming
released
into
real
the public
information.
sphere. What does it tell you about what happened here?
They not gonna release it.
It's embarrassing what happened here, Phil. Look, the Attorney General, this is to Evan's point a moment ago, sort of fanned the flames of these truly bonkers, I won't say the full word, conspiracy theories that have been allowed to infiltrate not just American life, but also the government at the highest levels. There are basic facts here that we ought to accept. Number one, Jeffrey Epstein did really bad things to many people. And number two, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison before he could face trial. Those are facts. That is truth. Any suggestion to the contrary is simply not held by serious people. And the Attorney General herself, quite frankly, is responsible for allowing some of this nonsense to get out there. Now, thankfully, the Justice Department has put this memorandum out there, but this is just a bad look for the Justice Department. It's actually quite shameful.
Elliot, is it normal for DOJ to release a memo like this?
It really isn't, Phil, only because the memorandum is really pushing back against conspiracy theories. It's not explaining why someone wasn't charged with a crime, or explaining why someone was charged with a crime, or explaining the facts of the case. It is merely put out there to debunk some of this nonsense that the Attorney General actually helped fan the flames up by handing these memos out, these binders out at the White House and so on. So no, it is not common at all. Certainly the Justice Department makes public statements all the time. They make public statements to our reporters like Evan Perez, and that's fine. But pushing back on conspiracy theories is not a core competency of any member of the Justice Department, and quite frankly, it should not be.
Evan, real quick before I let you go, any repercussions for the Attorney General on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can see people on the right, including Lara Loomer, she's calling for the Attorney General to be fired.
So they want to make this a left and right thing. And that feeds the distraction even more. They want to make this shit about MAGA and all this different shit that don't matter. They always make this shit about left and right so they can get the people fighting amongst each other. That's all it be. That's all it is. All right, we're gonna switch. We gotta get into Epstein's brother speaking out. And this is the first time I ever heard his brother really speaking out. He probably could have spoke out before, but it might have missed me on because I really wasn't following the Epstein shit heavy like that. So yeah, we're gonna get into his brother. Actually did an interview on Law and Crime. We're gonna get into that. Need y'all to double tap the screen like this video. All right, so let's get to it.
Injuries to his neck. He was put on suicide watch, held in an observation cell, but after 6 days was given the all clear by a doctor to go back to a special housing unit where he was supposed to have a roommate. But in August of 2019, Epstein's cellmate was transferred. No new cellmate was put in the room. Guards were supposed to check on Epstein every 30 minutes.
Yo, you on? I think we got Isaiah. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, we got Epstein brother speaking out, so we gotta see what he talking about. Hey, bro, what's your thoughts on this, bro? As far as them saying there's no Epstein list, and I'm like, all right, then who was he trafficking these minors to then? If there's no Epstein list,
I mean, if he ain't no client list, that means Ghislaine Maxwell shouldn't be in jail then.
Facts. Yeah, if there's no list, why is Ghislaine doing 22 years?
Yeah.
It don't make no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense. All right, so this is Law and Crime. So we got Epstein brother, Mark Epstein, actually speaking out, saying he don't believe his brother hung himself in that cell. And we got the footage. We're gonna get into the footage as well. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Throughout the night, but the two guards who were assigned to watch him on August 10th apparently fell asleep or were somehow distracted.
Which is a lie, because the footage showed them getting up and walking around all night. You know what I'm saying? So the footage they suppose that's one angle they put out. It does show the guards walking around doing stuff.
Investigation found that the two later falsified prison records. So obviously, people have thoughts about this. There was also, by the way, a lack of cameras. 2 cameras in front of Epstein's cell malfunctioned. This was according to the BOP, and a third had footage that was reportedly unusable. You wonder why there's so many theories? Now, guards found him dead in his cell when they distributed breakfast. His body was removed from the scene against BOP policy, and photos of his body, as it was found, were apparently never taken. In fact, I'll tell you what, we spoke with Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, back in January of 2024 here on Sidebar, and at the time, he believed there was something suspicious about his brother's death.
I Dr. Michael Barden to witness the autopsy. The autopsy was performed by the city pathologist. I, as a family member, have the right to have my own pathologist be there and to conduct an autopsy once the body is claimed, if we deemed it was necessary.
And the reason I ask you that is because you just said a second ago you thought that, you know, your brother's death was a suicide, you were mourning his loss, but there seemed to be something to indicate to you, I want a second opinion, to someone to observe the autopsy, right? What was the reason you thought that?
Well, because in speaking with his attorneys, they had a suicide, and they were sort of surprised that he did it. So we figured let's cover the bases and make sure we have somebody there as well. Because one of the things that's not been out there much is that a few days after his death, there was a hearing scheduled to appeal the decision for bail. The first time when he was first arrested, his attorneys asked me if I would participate in his bail. And I said, yes. I said, put up my house in Florida. I knew my brother wasn't a flight risk and he's my brother. I didn't care. And then bail was denied, which is why he was in jail. And then they were going to appeal the decision for bail. And Jeffrey was putting up a pretty big bail. And they asked me for the appeal if I would guarantee his bail. And I agreed, in essence, doubling it. So there was a chance he might have gotten bail. And that hearing was scheduled in, I think, for the 12th. In a couple of days. So then I'm thinking, if he was going to kill himself, wouldn't he wait to after the bail hearing? Exactly. Yeah, because if he got bail, he'd be living in his house with an ankle monitor and armed guards and cameras, so he wouldn't disappear anywhere. Not that I thought he would try. And then if bail was denied again, then it would be a more compelling argument for him to kill himself if he wanted to. A few days before the bail hearing makes no sense at all.
So do you have a theory as to what happened here? Because, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. There's a lot of innuendo. Do you have a theory as to what happened here?
Yes. My theory is that this was a targeted assassination.
But in recent months, FBI Director Kash Patel has testified that Jeffrey Epstein took his own life.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
So his brother believed that it was an assassination on his brother. And I kind of believe that because you have cameras that's dysfunction. You have 10-hour footage that they just released with like a minute of it missing.
Mark better be careful talking like that.
His brother,
he might be next. He might be next have an accident. You know what I'm saying? You know how they like to do it.
Yeah.
He had an accident or something like that. You know how they do it.
Accident. Freak accident.
Yep, a freak accident, something. You know how they do it. Because you gotta think about it. The client list is gone, but somebody's doing 20 years and no telling where that woman is at. You know they probably got her in some special type prison somewhere, like some Guantanamo Bay style prison somewhere. I don't care what they tell us or where they tell us she's at in the media. Because if she got that, you gotta think about it. If she got that, she knows the client list.
Yeah.
If they got rid of him, so-called got rid of him, where do you think they got her at? You think they're gonna have her in a regular prison to where she got that type of information? She's locked down somewhere like freaking Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, well, she probably ain't getting no type of
no type of contact. If she even still alive, if they ain't performed some type of lobotomy on her or something.
Right. Or got
to remove that information out of her mind.
Should have got her on another agent mission.
I don't even know, bro. I don't even know if they even saying like that.
Yeah, nah. She too.
Not with that information. They don't play.
Yeah, she's Maxwell is still doing 20-something years.
Where though?
Yeah, exactly. You're
Where's
right.
she at?
Right, exactly.
Think about the most powerful people on the planet. Names are on that list, probably.
Facts.
Well, the power that the people perceive them to be.
Yeah, but it's people on that list that they're never going to get prosecuted or anything. They don't want them in the media for anything.
That's
remotely.
The point that I'm making.
Yeah, remotely.
That's why I said I don't even think she's doing no secret missions anywhere. And Jeffrey definitely ain't survived that jail cell.
Right. I mean, she might be still alive somewhere. They'll roll her out when they need her, when they need to.
Yeah, but she ain't gonna be the same person.
Nah, they gonna roll her out when it's time to maybe do a movie or book or some.
You talking about just her image?
Yeah, her image. They'll roll her right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll roll her out when they need to, or if they need to something to be in the media about Epstein or Ghislaine, they need her to come forward and it'll be some shit out. They'll roll her out whenever they need to. Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what they do, because they rolled Diddy out and then they rolled Jeffrey back out. But you don't hear nothing about Abercrombie. What's his name? Michael Jeffries. You don't hear nothing about that one.
Yeah, he's not
fit off the mat.
Right.
They saying he ain't even fit for trial.
They said he ain't even incompetent enough to face trial. And they sent him off.
I wonder if he was one of the clients on that list.
Right. The facts. And they sent him over to a crazy hospital for 4 months. Fake. We know that's fake. For him to
they put people like him in a crazy home because he got information. He knows that client list also.
Yeah, but 4 months
during the same time some of them clients was there, and he's part of the client list. So of course they're gonna put him in a crazy home.
Yeah, but you see how after the Diddy trial was over, they hit us with this right away. They had that footage. They had that missing footage conveniently ready for after the Diddy trial, bro. And they want us to believe all this shit is real. The whole time that footage been locked away some goddamn where they claim it's missing, and conveniently it pops up right after the Diddy trial, bro.
Well, that's the stuff that they feed the masses. See, they feed us a different story than what's actually going on.
Facts.
Of course they had that footage the very second that it went missing. They had it the whole time. Of course they gonna conveniently put it out around it, because the Diddy stuff is dying down a little bit. Now they need something else to pick it back up, just so people can be distracted more.
Fact.
And you're like, what are people being distracted from? Well, they about to change the whole money system. That's what everybody's being distracted from. And they're getting rid of a lot of these top players because they don't need them anymore. And they definitely getting rid of the people who know too much information. They tying up loose ends.
They tying up loose ends, bro.
They tying up loose ends before we completely enter the blockchain of digital currency and the rest of the digital world. We only still a little bit over the halfway point of getting into the digital world.
Facts.
They trying to enmesh us in the whole metaverse.
Yeah.
Like that. They trying to take us there, but they gotta tie up loose ends because the old system, the old way of running things is done.
Facts.
So people that got too much information that can expose certain people, they tying up loose ends. They getting rid of them.
Getting rid of them.
They getting rid of. Obviously, Diddy ain't know too much, because if he did, they would have got him for that trafficking.
Yeah, facts.
So he don't know too much about that client list, but Maxwell definitely knows about that client list.
Yeah, Maxwell.
Michael Jeffries probably know about that client list. That's why they saying he's unfit for trial and got him in a crazy house so they can mess with his mind in there and really make him look crazy.
Well, he only had to do 4 months in there, and then he magically disappeared.
Exactly. You see how he magically disappeared?
That's
because he went to one of those re-education centers. See, he ain't just go to a regular crazy house. He went to one of the military intelligence controlled crazy house, where they do mind control experiments and all that. So that's another thing. Of course he's going to disappear. And then if anybody ever see him again, he's not going to, he ain't even going to know who he is. And I feel like they might do the same thing to Maxwell.
Maxwell.
Yeah, they might do the same thing to her.
Yeah, because they, you know, she's buried right now. She's not being talked about.
Right.
She's not.
Yeah,
like,
they buried easily.
Like nothing new. It's coming out about her as far as like where she's at, like how she's doing in prison, or none of that shit is being exposed.
Yeah.
So they pretty much got her buried somewhere deep in the prison, some type of private prison. They got her buried deep in, and it's probably for people that's on her level, people that's, you know, they got those certain prisons where they send high level up people at.
Think I hit him with a movie. Think the second Triple X with Ice Cube, the prison that they had him in.
Facts.
Or in the movie Face Off.
Yeah, right.
When they put Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Really John Travolta.
And we did a live stream on those certain prisons. Not like that one, but certain prisons. It's like these luxury prisons that they send certain people from around the world to.
Nah, they ain't sending her
higher up, but they ain't sending her to one of them. Nah, she's not. Those only for people that, you know, basically need to take the heat for something, but they don't want to bury them too much.
Right.
So they get the luxury prisons where they get keys to their cell. They go out and get to plant gardens and shit like that.
Martha Stewart type shit.
They got kitchens in they cell. Talking about full kitchens, full living quarters. We did a live stream on it. These are luxury prisons, and those prisons is only reserved for certain, you know, people that's on a certain level. I don't believe Days lean in one of them Johns.
They said that Martha Stewart, when she was in prison, she was living good up there.
Yeah, she was able to do cookbooks and all.
Not just cookbooks, just having dinners at the, you know what I mean? Right. Whole dinners for everybody, like just doing it up. Not just doing a cook, but testing the cookbook. Having the ingredients to actually test the ingredients that she's writing down in the cookbook.
Yeah, she ain't really doing no
living
hard
it up
time.
in there. Yeah, so it's a difference. But where Giseline is at, man, she's probably one of them, like you said, for them people who's like high profile criminals or high profile people who got too much information and they really want to get rid of them. They don't want to unalive them yet, but they want to get rid of them like from the public's eye completely.
From the public's eye. All right.
Forever. Like you ain't gonna never hear from them again.
No.
And they got facilities like that too, and I think that's where they gonna put Giseline.
Yeah, that's what they got her. They got her buried right now.
Hell
and
yeah.
Like we said, they'll roll her out when if need be.
Right. That's crazy though, how they do that, bro. How they roll people out.
Yeah.
Like conveniently scripted, like all right, this is the next thing we're gonna do, y'all. We're gonna talk about Jeffrey Epstein, and after that, we're gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna move back to the Diddy trial. And after that, it's like it's all like teleprompted.
If you got corporations that basically merged, we talk about the bigger network companies emerged, and they basically run all the entertainment, all the media. They bounced it down to like 6 companies that own everything. Now these 6 companies all share the same shareholders. So it's a small development of people that own all of the media. So they get to control the information. So being as though that the Diddy trial over, they already got their lineup of what they're gonna put in the media next for the people, whatever they want the people to be focused in on and distracted from. They got a lineup. I believe a lot of this shit is being manufactured. They're using artificial intelligence to do it as well. So yeah, they using artificial intelligence to the max right now. So I believe that they already had this Epstein shit lined up as far as with because being as though that the Diddy shit coincided with the Epstein shit, the sex trafficking, the The I mean, it
The
all,
Michael
it all,
Jeffrey.
yeah, it's all like a lineup. So being as though this missing footage magically appears, the surveillance from the jail, and peep this, it's the same jail that Diddy is in right now. It's the same jail that this Luigi Mangione nigga is in. What's the other dude the other crazy crypto dude that's in there? That the one he was in there. I guess he had a conversation with Diddy in there, or he talked to Diddy and then he had him all in the media again. What's the dude up there that they got at that same jail? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The white dude with the crazy hair, the crypto dude. You know what I'm talking about? The scamming dude. I forgot his name though. What's that dude's name?
You talking about the FTX guy?
Yeah.
What is his name?
I forgot his name. Somebody in the chat might say it, but
I think it's Sam Bankman. I think it's
that's him. That's him. Yeah, something like that. Right. All of these people are in the same prison right
in the
now.
same script though. It's the same script that they running. Because look how they released the Hotel Cassie beating thing, and that was like years ago.
2016.
Right? Yeah, you see how they put the footage out there because nobody really knows where that footage actually came from.
No.
And then they put the footage out there out of nowhere of the missing footage from Jeffrey Epstein in front of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. They all of a sudden that comes back. And they used to do the same thing back in the day too, like with the Osama bin Laden tapes and all that. So it's the same pattern. For those of y'all who was around during the whole 9/11 and we gonna go get Osama bin Laden and all that. And every other week, they never knew where he was at, but he was able to release a tape every other week.
Yeah.
That they had put on the news. You're like, well, where'd the tape come from? Just trace where the tape came from. They always seem, the media always seem to have a tape of him showing where he at in the caves and showing him sitting in his living room. They got all that footage of Osama, but they ain't know where because that's just what they tell us.
Yeah, they got it with.
That's just what they tell us. That's the fake stuff that they but all of it is scripted behind the scenes. It's like they got high level movie directors and producers and stuff right behind the scene helping them write these scripts out, but actually doing them.
Yeah,
actually, like when they take somebody out of the script, if they need to take them out permanently, they do that.
All right.
Rather they changing their identity or they really unaliving them. You never know which one.
All right. Yeah, this shit crazy, bro.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
Oh, this shit's
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way.
Yeah, we're doing it in a way where we're gonna roll it out after the Diddy trial, and we're gonna, magically make the file pop up, the leaked footage, and we leave the people distracted. Just be honest, man. Like, cause real people with real eyes and real discernment can see what the hell going on here. Diddy trial over, we back on Epstein. It's crazy.
That protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
And when Director Patel says CSAM, he means child sexual abuse material. But I will tell you, despite comments from high-profile figures like Akash Patel, influencers from both sides of the aisle have continued to push the story that this is all part of a cover-up, right? Just take a look at some of these YouTube video titles from last month. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino portray MAGA. Kash Patel lies about Epstein and Trump cover-up. Kash Patel covers up Epstein tapes on Rogan. So what is the Department of Justice saying now about Epstein's death, and what have we learned from the hours of jail surveillance footage that was just released? Well, to talk about it, let me bring on retired FBI agent Colin L. Schmidt. Colin, thanks so much for coming back here on Sidebar.
Thank you for having me.
All right, your reaction. The announcement from the DOJ. There's no client list, no more videos to be released. Surveillance apparently proving that no one approached Epstein's cell. What do you think?
Well, I just have to go by what was in the letter and actually read some excerpts of it. I actually have it up here, but I believe that's like the third or fourth paragraph. They say we did not cover investigation and charge third parties. And then they go on the next paragraph and say, the review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims.
Yeah, we lied.
So the two statements seem to be a little bit contradictory, because if you have 1,000 victims, how did he harm them? And then were there third parties involved in harming those 1,000 victims? And based upon the trial, and in the trial of Giselle Maxwell, it came out that she was somebody who actually recruited victims for prostitution with these alleged third parties. So there's just...
Then why, if there's no list, then why y'all got this woman locked up? Because she's not locked up based off the charges. She's locked up based off of the information that she's retaining.
This nigga said
that they don't want
this nigga said alleged third parties. Like, then what is she locked up for?
Right.
Alleged.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
Well,
alleged third parties.
Alleged
what the
third
hell?
parties. Right.
Who's
Like
the third parties? We never heard the third parties.
Right.
We never heard about the third parties.
We never heard about the third parties.
And they
There's
saying
no
that it don't even exist. They saying the third parties don't even exist. The third
So
parties
why-
don't exist, but then Maxwell got 20 years in prison.
Yes, then why she's in prison? Because she's not on, bro. She's not in prison based off the fact that the charges she's on. I believe they got her tucked away because she knows too much information about certain people. She's seen certain things. She knows who's on the list. She knows who the clients are of Epstein, and these people are PDFs. And PDFs. So they got her locked away based off the information she knows. I don't. She's not locked away on the charges. We might not ever hear from this woman ever again.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was saying. We
Right.
might not hear from her ever.
Yeah,
and
we
if we
might
do,
not. She's lobotomized, or
gonna be out of her mind. Yup.
yeah, they gonna make
She
her
ain't
look
even gonna
like
know who she is.
yeah, they gonna make her look like on some Charles Manson type shit. Make her look crazy, even though we all know Charles Manson wasn't crazy as hell. They, you know what I mean, but we know how the media like to, twist and turn things and make us believe what they want us to believe, and they got a good way of
edited
doing
his
it.
interview.
Yeah, and not only that, they made him not shave on purpose, had his hair all wild because they want to make him look crazy as possible. So they would do that to gays.
Right.
They would put her in the media, no makeup on, face look crazy, hair not done. Like they would do anything to put her in the media to look crazy as hell, based off the information she knows.
Can I hit him with it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
Nobody. I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.
They make her ass look just like that. Crazy. You see
And he said they cut his hair like that. He didn't ask his hair to be cut like
exactly.
that. They did that on purpose. and
He
then
would.
sent
Yeah,
him
they
out
did it
there.
on purpose. Yeah, he wouldn't. A dude like that, we know he wouldn't. This is all sidebar anyway, y'all. They wouldn't cut his hair. He wouldn't want his hair cut like that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he
Like,
was saying that stuff through the interview. He said it in the interview. He said, "Y'all the one that did this to my head," and he was explaining it in the interview of how they use trickery and try to
Right.
make him look like somebody he's not,
damn,
just
so
to
y'all-
entertain all of us.
basically. Yeah.
While they handle
Seems
the
to be
real
a lot.
stuff behind. But people do have to know exactly what we're all being distracted from. We gotta tell them this one more time, man.
Yeah.
We're
Go
all
ahead,
being
bro.
distracted because they're about to change the whole entire money system. The whole money system is about the way we handle money The way money is going to be moved is going to be completely different. They really about to take over with this crypto shit. Like anybody that's holding crypto, any type of crypto is going to make some money. That's what they're doing.
Right, and let them, and that's the thing. We being specific of what they really distracting us from. Like we're pinpointing it down to what they really distracting us from. So why would they want the general public not to know, to be focused in on what the financial system won't be? Break it down to them.
See, what we have to understand, they do this every time they about to switch the money system. Every time they switch the money system in history, they have a pandemic, they have a world war, and they have politicians with a whole bunch of scandals. They do the same tricks throughout history. They've been doing it, and they're currently doing it now. Now, just to let y'all know that they're serious about this crypto, they took the biggest sports center, the Staples Center in LA, and called it crypto.com. Now, you know how the world is serious about its sports, and that's like one of the biggest forms of entertainment there ever was. One of the oldest forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
And they took one of the biggest stadiums in the world and named it crypto.com, because they got to tell you what they're doing, but they also can distract you from what they're doing. Because once the money system change, that's going to change everything.
It's going to change everything. It's going to change the whole world that we once knew will be changed completely. How money is
everything,
how money is transferred, how it's going to transfer agriculture, our architect. It's everything's going to look different, from the architect to agriculture to the entertainment. Everything's going to change. It's not even going to look like the same world by 2030.
Exactly. And that's what we're being distracted from. All this stuff that's going, this Diddy stuff, this Epstein stuff, all the scandals we're hearing about, all the celebrity stuff. All that stuff is just to distract us from what's about to happen. The pandemic stuff was that was one of the biggest distractions. And they might do another one.
And
they might try to pull off another pandemic.
They definitely going. Well, they already been saying that anyway. Even after the first one happened, they were saying prepare for another one. They've been saying that throughout the years, even after the first one. But let me break this down to people too. Being as though if they keep people in the dark, then they will put themselves out there as the light for people to follow, right? So if you got a public of people that's actually aware of what's going on, then they able to move accordingly to however the system is moving, right? They'll be prepared for this shit. See, the one thing they do, they bank on people being ignorant and not prepared. That way they can make you move the way they want you to move. They're able to control what you think. They're able to control how you move and all that, because you don't have you're not aware of what's going on with the system. So if they keep you in the dark, then you won't even know which way to go, and they're going to control everything, and everything you possibly can think of, they're going to have control over, because you was left out. You was left behind. You was in the dark. You didn't want to know what was going on. And they bank on people not knowing what's going on because they're able to control every aspect. See, people that actually can think and see where this shit is going actually have time to prepare on whatever resistance that they need to prepare for, because we're telling you what they're doing with the food. We're telling you what they're doing with agriculture, right? So being as though that they're putting all these chemicals and stuff in the food, you have people like us that telling you, listen, I gotta stop eating that shit. Go to your local butchers and your local farmers markets to get your produce and get your meat. Stop buying this corporation shit. You see what I'm saying? So it's people that's actually following what's going on and able to move accordingly. Most of the public is moving according to however the media and however the system wants you to move. Most of the population is moving according to the system and how they want everybody to move. They not meeting too much resistance because people are asleep. So you have a small amount of people that's resisting against what's going on, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough because it's not making them make any changes or adjustments. See, they only adjust according to how the population is moving. So if you have a population full of woke people, then they have no choice but to move according to how the majority wants things to be. But the majority is sleeping shit right now. So they got everybody dancing to their drum. So right
Yeah,
now,
just like people didn't know that those masks that they was telling everybody to wear
Yeah.
constantly was also an attack. Because if y'all knew what y'all was breathing, the chemicals that they make those masks with, if y'all knew what y'all was breathing in, y'all wouldn't put those things on your face.
Right.
Because y'all gotta understand that's how they move and that's how they attack us. They do a diversion over here and so they cause a problem, and then they the ones that come with the solution. But the solution is usually poisonous.
Yeah.
So if you're scared, so if you're a person in fear and you listening to what the mainstream media tell you to do, you usually gonna run right into the trap. So that's another thing we're trying to get through to y'all. They poison our food, they poison our water, they poison our air. They did this whole fake pandemic thing, which ended up being a real pandemic because people was getting sick from the masks that they constantly had on their face because there's chemicals on those masks that you're not supposed to be breathing in. That's the real thing right there. That's how they get you. And they get you with something else too, little stabby Abby.
Stabby
Yeah,
Abby.
when they tell you to go get the stabby Abby. You get that stabby Abby and you end up more sick than you ever been in your life.
All right, it's got that shit to stabby.
So they got the solutions right there for us, and the solutions is always poisonous. Because this is a constant attack on the general public because they feel that it's too many of us. They talk about it all the time in their TED talks, and they talk about it all the time in their TED talks and their lectures, and they do it right out in the open because they know most people don't care. They only care what the score of the game was last night, or what celebrity is screwing who, or what Diddy is doing. Like they got us occupied with that stuff while the real stuff is happening behind the scenes. All you gotta do is just get one little peek, and you will see the whole operation right there. They use the same tactics. Yep, they use the same tactics over and over and over and over again. They cause a problem, they get everybody scared, and then they come with the solution. And that's what they do. And they do that when they're about to make big changes that they know people ain't gonna really like, but we feel like we gotta do it because they scare us into it. And that's what they do. They scare us into stuff. And they put story out after story to basically influence us to do their bidding without us doing their bidding.
Because if they really wanted the people to be woke about this cryptos, why are they not? You know when they really want people to know some shit, right? They get your favorite celebrity to promote it.
Yep, they do the same. Yep,
I mean, they really want you to know some shit. They have your favorite celebrity promoting it. They have all on TV, all like the media be talking about it constantly. Like they really want you to know some shit. But they don't really want you to know about digital crypto like that. That's why it's not spoken of on a wider scale. You have certain publications that's talking about it, and they know majority of the people is not watching certain publications, right? Because people just not interested in watching the goddamn Dow Jones and channel and the goddamn
that's even a distraction. Even watching that Dow shit ain't even don't even watch that because that's a distraction.
The business part of the news and all that shit, even though that should be psyoppy. Because the mainstream media is controlled 1000%. So I don't really trust too much coming out of there. So what you do, you take the surface level shit that they report on, and then you just do your own research and connect your own dots. You do your own discernment. Because mainstream is only going to give you half a truth, and most of it's bullshit and made up.
And you gotta know you gotta do education on the big agenda that they want. They want to be able to track and trace us everywhere, and have the authority to stop us in our tracks or whatever they want to do. And people say, oh, they could do that now, but not as much as they won't be able to do it once we all on that blockchain and we all on this digital system where we got real digital IDs and all of that, and we're moving crypto around, and people is barely using cash anymore. Right. That means everything that you do online is going to be tracked publicly, every little thing, and they can tax you in real time. That's the big upgrade that they want to the system. They want to be able to tax people in real time. See, it's hard to do that with our current money system. The way money moves, it got to go from bank to bank, and it got to, you got to wait for it to clear this transaction, and sometimes that can 3 to 4 business days. But with the crypto, everything's in real time. Like, if they want to hit you with taxes, like, if they want to fine you, they could fine you in seconds. Like, all right, you got to fine, and they could automatically scan something, your QR code that's connected to your real ID, that's connected to your crypto account. They could fine you right away.
Yeah, because
they take the money out instantly.
Yeah, that's why they want to get rid of the IRS, because being as though they could tax you in real time, you ain't got to wait to the end of the year to file your tax. Beginning of the year, end of the year, file your taxes and none of that. You're being taxed in real time. You see what I'm saying? It's no more waiting for shit. It's no more waiting to get a paycheck. Everything is going to be done in real time. You're going to be able to get paid to do your job and get paid as you go along. There's no more waiting for 2 weeks to get a paycheck. There's no more filing your taxes at the beginning of the year and shit. They don't need to do that no more. They can just tax you in real time as you going along about your day. Everything is being taxed right then and there.
Right, and you get paid then and there.
Right.
Even the way you get paid. Then, some people jobs already switched to that system where you can get paid every day, but they can switch it to where you can get paid every second with the crypto system.
Fact.
So whatever, even down to the second, y'all. So you gotta understand that's how they calculate everything different, and it's more accurate. Which means more slavery also. I mean, your whole movement could be tracked down like on a job, in the job atmosphere, to where they completely using it. Now, Amazon is the closest right now in the United States to the system that I'm talking about. Yeah. Like they can track all your movements. You get paid by the millisecond, or basically how well you perform on your job.
Yeah.
And you get that however you perform, you get that at the end of the day. That's what we're trying to tell you. The whole system is about to change. And the people who know now and know what to invest in now and know where the direction that they're going, they could become multimillionaires like within months.
Yeah.
Months, years, couple of months. Yeah. Whenever the system go full force, whoever's holding the currency is going to be at an advantage. And that's just what it is. Because they trying to get rid of cash. They already, even with the pandemic, they was trying to get rid of cash, saying don't handle cash because it might have the virus on it. You know what I'm saying? They shut down the production of the money printing places. Like they wasn't as productive because they said, it's not good to use cash right now anyway because it's a pandemic, and that's just passing the virus back and forth. So that was a way that they was able to basically cut the cash in half, because it ain't as much cash floating around physically anymore as it was just even 10 years ago. So they trying to dry up the physical money supply also, because they want us all on a digital currency system. And that's coming soon, and that's what they're using all this stuff to distract us from that.
Yeah.
They already gave us the training wheels. The training wheels is in the form of a Cash App or PayPal. Like, just think about those of y'all who was, born, like from 80 to about 1991. People who was born from around that time. We've seen the transition even more in our time of how things used to be, how we used to pay bills, how we had to physically go to pay bills and all of that. We wasn't just able to just go on a phone that's in our pocket and pay our bills instantly like that, or go on our phone and send money instantly like that through a Cash App or PayPal or something like that. So even then, that's a big change. But we moving even further into that. We moving even further into that, and that's going to be major. That's going to be everything. And that's what they're distracting us from. That's what because once they change the way how money flows like that, they're going to change the way how life flow completely. But they'd be able to change it in the direction that they want it to be, where we don't get no type of benefits out of it. The system get all the benefits. If we don't wake up to this now and say, nah, we don't want this, we don't want that. But it seems like most people are not, they're being distracted by everything else and not seeing the direction that everything is going. It's just happening, and we just accepting it. Say, oh, that's the new technology. Oh, you can send money through PayPal. Oh, you can cash at me now. Oh, we ain't seeing what direction is going.
Yeah, we're not right.
We're not looking at the big picture of it all.
Right.
And once they able to control all of our money digitally, and you can't even have cash under your bed anymore or cash in your closet, you know, once you're not able to have that anymore, and they see every transaction you do every second and could tax you anytime they want, that's a crazy world to live in, man. I'm telling you right now, if we don't do something about this now, it's going to get out of hand. It's going to get, and once they apply the AI, the artificial intelligence, and then have the blockchain going all at once, and everything is pre-programmed to do this and do that, we might be finished, y'all. It's either going to go post-apocalyptic because people going to tear this system down, or we going to go full-fledged into digital slavery, like full-fledged.
Yeah. So that's what they distract us from. So I suggest a lot of y'all start looking into where they going with this system, with this new system, so y'all can get a heads up of what's happening. I mean, you dropping, you know, breadcrumbs on the live streams, even with these type of live streams that we do on you know, following these type of cases, Diddy case, Epstein shit and all that, because they are distracting us. So it's like, all right, people want to know what the hell is really going on. Well, you know, some people, not everybody. A lot of people's into the bullshit, they into the mess. They really don't care about none of this type of shit. You know what I mean? They feel like this is not even a thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But this Epstein shit though, we want to get dive back into this, man. This video is sponsored by 90dayherbals.com. Make sure y'all head over there and take advantage of 35% off sale that we got. We also doing a buy one get one free when it comes to the CBD cigarettes and the pre-rolls. So you might get something free in your order as well. Yeah, shop with us, man. Independent business selling high quality products. You know what I'm saying? This is our business. We've been in business for the past almost 7 years. 5 stars on Google. Check us out, man. Make sure y'all head over there and check us out. Let me see. Man, why they change this? Why they change the StreamYard around like this?
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.
All right, link is in the description and in the chat and pinned in the chat. So let's get back to it, man.
There just seems to be some contradictory statements in their own letter, which is going to obviously fuel just conspiracy theories, or just going to go wild now.
I don't disagree with that. I'm sure this isn't going to quell the conversation. What's a reasonable explanation for that? How could you have those two statements, you know, work hand in hand with each other?
Without having more information, I was never a part to any of this investigation, even though the entire FBI, you know, there were several field officers involved in gathering evidence. They also said that I think they got gigabytes of video evidence from his house, thousands of pages of documentary evidence, and basically to say that there's nothing there to charge unidentified third parties. And maybe it's a statement that they're saying is no identified third parties in terms of extortion, which they talked about as well. But it just seems like the letter is just, it's just adding, not even kerosene. I mean, they just dropped basically a whole fuel depot on the conspiracy theorists with this letter. And I think it's just going to cause more problems than it solves.
It's just going to cause more distractions because people not asking like, all right, if there's no list, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell doing 20-some years in prison? Who was they sex trafficking these minors to? Who's the clients? Makes no sense to me, bro.
So before we dig into what the DOJ has to say about alleged evidence that was seized in its investigation of Epstein, I want to first talk about the video the department released showing nearly 11 hours of surveillance video from the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Now, something I have to note here, this is a separate facility from the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Sean Diddy Combs has been since his arrest on federal charges back in September. Sometimes people confuse the two, understandable. But according to the DOJ memo, quote, after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10th, 2019. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers in the SHU. SHU stands for Specialized Housing Unit. So the video starts at 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time on August 9th. It does not show Epstein's cell door, but according to the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, anyone coming or going from that housing unit would have been seen on that camera. And you can see men walking around in orange jumpsuits.
Yeah, but that's a lie though, because over there is the staircase. The camera is cut off from the staircase, so anybody can go up that staircase. You wouldn't even know who the hell's going up there. That's the staircase to the damn second tier. So they got the camera angle on one angle. You won't see who's going up the damn steps. It's cut off. So how is this supposed to prove that Epstein took his own life, or someone didn't creep in there and put him in a chokehold and just made him look like he committed suicide? How we know ain't nobody creep up them steps? Like, come on now. How we supposed to, by this one angle, then them showing him walking, supposedly Epstein walking past the camera, them escorting him to his cell? How we know that's Epstein though? This one angle is not going to make us see it if that's Epstein clear as hell. Like, that could be any old dude with white hair walking past the damn camera. Like I said, the media be on some bullshit. The FEDS, the DOJ, all of them, they be on some bullshit, bro. That shows you that they still on some bullshit. They was on some bullshit with the Diddy trial. Now they on some bullshit with this Epstein shit, bro. It's like one bullshit after another. It's like one lie after another. You know they need to keep creating lies to cover up other lies. So that with the Diddy shit, they need to cover it up for this. You know what I mean? Cover the Diddy shit up and have us focusing on this Epstein shit. Next thing you know, when the Epstein shit passed, it might be some shit coming out about JFK again, or another big celebrity being, put in the media for sex trafficking or abuse or being sued. It's like a constant rollout of distractions every damn day. Every day. They really think that we supposed to, this is one angle with a bunch of damn activities happening. We don't see, it's no camera pointing towards Epstein's cell. They said Epstein was in room 220. This is a camera that got us looking at 46 and whatever this other damn door is. And then you see basically the guard station down there, right there where they got computers and all that shit set up. And them just walking around doing shit.
Appears to be a guard desk.
Right.
Around 7:50 p.m., you can see a prisoner believed to be Epstein walking into the frame with a guard behind him,
Yeah,
then down.
that's supposed to be Epstein right here, y'all. Right there, walking by. That's supposed to be them exporting. Let me go back a little bit because I want to catch it where he went when he first into the frame.
Coming or going from that housing unit would have been seen on that camera. And you can see men walking around in orange jumpsuits and what appears to be a guard desk. At around 7:50 p.m., you can see a prisoner, believed to be Epstein, walking into the frame with a guard behind him.
Right there.
Then down a set of...
How are we supposed to know that's Epstein, bro? See, the media, they can tell you any goddamn thing. How we know that's supposed to be Epstein, bro? How can we tell if that's Epstein or not walking past?
Men walking,
being escorted to a
you
cell.
think about it, they always doctor these tapes up that they release to us, and they always bad quality.
Around in orange jumpsuits and what appears to be a guard desk. At around 7:50 p.m., you can see a prisoner, believed to be Epstein, walking into the frame with a guard behind him, then down a set of stairs and across the room. Colin. So according to officials, if any sort of assassin had walked through to get to Epstein's cell, it would have been captured on this camera.
But that ain't necessarily true though, because first of all, they cut a minute out of this whole 10-hour and something footage. It's a minute of it missing. So how did a minute of it jump? How did it jump over a minute and something of the footage gone? So how we know the assassin ain't within that minute footage that they cut out the damn this 10-hour surveillance? Yeah, this is some
Nigga, that quality, that surveillance is poor as hell, bro.
Poor as hell, bro. It's always right. It's never high quality.
Who that is on that. You don't know who down there walking.
Facts.
We don't even know if this is the actual prison that he even stayed at. This could just be some random video.
That's possible too.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we should be looking at more when it comes to Epstein's death from this video?
It does help, quell some of the conspiracy theories because now you're giving evidence that an independent person can review. However, based upon my understanding, there was 2 prison guards that were either fired or dismissed, and we haven't heard from them. And so
they did.
That would be kind of the next logical step is if you're going to reduce or release everything, are we going to, is the public going to have an opportunity or Congress have an opportunity to talk to these 2 prison guards to find out what really happened? I think he did commit suicide based upon all the evidence that's available. However, the point of are they going to be able to reduce all the conspiracy theories? And frankly, the energy in Congress to ask for more information. Once again, I don't think this letter is going to help.
And if he did commit suicide, it's self-termination. I mean, you're an agent. You got put out there. You got figured out. It's like, all right, well, you got to fall on your sword now. You got to basically hang yourself. Like that's what they did with agents that got put out there and shit. They either killed themselves or somebody took them out. In the Epstein case, yeah, he probably very well did hang himself in that cell, but it wasn't on the fact that he hung himself because he was scared. Like, nigga, you got figured out. There's a certain thing, certain thing that they live by, that they go by. So being as though he was an agent put out there and a lot of shit, a lot of information he retains, bro. So the best thing for him to do is just to take himself out, self-terminate.
He looked like he'd be one of the VIPs on the Squid Game.
Right. Yeah, I gotta watch the 3rd season too of the Squid Games. Yeah, I ain't checked that joint out yet. I'm gonna check that out.
Who pay to watch the Squid Games behind the scene.
Right. Yeah, this this shit is crazy. Right after the Diddy case. That's what make you think like they have They have to control the narrative. They have to keep people distracted because why would you like? Where was this footage at the whole time? From the time that he killed himself, supposedly killed himself, up until now. It's like they rolled this shit right out, bro. Right after the Diddy trial was over, and the
Well, is the
verdict.
Diddy trial officially over though?
Nah, but the verdict though. My bad. The
Yeah,
verdict.
yeah.
The verdict.
Yeah, it's not officially over
Yeah,
yet,
it's
but
not officially over, but
it's downtime.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? This is the downtime during the holidays and all that. So they had to roll something else out just to keep it going. Yeah, that's how they feed the system. So the system can feed our minds a bunch of bull crap.
Right.
A bunch of scripted stuff that they came up with. Yeah, I mean, and you know it's scripted. You could just it just got that scripted feeling to it. How they roll it out like that, piece by piece. When one thing dies down, they got something right after that. Almost like the same thing when they took Kanye's billionaire status and gave it to Diddy the next day.
Yeah, the very next day.
It's like, yeah, it's so systematic. And a lot of us don't see it that way, but it's really all systematic. It's like almost like we just gotta break this whole system down and say the F with it all. And the key to doing that is just do the opposite of everything they tell you to do in the media. Believe the opposite of everything they want you to believe in the media.
Exactly.
Like, it's that easy. It's that easy. Don't believe nothing that they tell us. Believe the opposite, because that's usually what it is. And that's what every facet of our lives, man. It's like they got us controlled with every facet of our lives. Whether it's the education system, rather it's religion, rather it's what we entertain by, rather it's what we just believe that we have to do just to be a human. Everything that the mainstream medium or the mainstream system, everything that they tell you to do, just do the opposite, man, because this system is against all of us. And not just against black people, white people. It's against people in general. It's against everybody. This ain't even about a race thing anymore. Like, this system is literally attacking everybody. Like we're pretty much done, man. Things are so bad right now around us is because we believe everything the system tells us to believe. And the people who go outside of that end up finding success outside of that.
Yeah,
and you gotta warn the people who still got that systematic mind and they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I like that you said people that usually go against, that work outside of, the systems, some way find success outside of that. Yeah. Right.
And the people who still locked in the system, they hate on the people who find success outside of the system.
Yeah.
And that's how the main system keeps us all divided. It want us to all fight against each other. It want us to all believe this stuff that they put in front of us and for us to fight over the information. And it's all be false information anyway that they give us. They give us false information and want us to fight amongst each other of what part of the information is true or not. And that's basically all you see. Everybody trying to be smart with the information that they got and try to, seem like they know more than the other person, but it ain't even about that no more. It's about what's actually happening in our reality and the corruption that's happening and doing something about it. It ain't about arguing about the corruption of who's more corrupt and this and that. It's all effing corrupt. So the time of argument should be over. Now it just should be the time of doing. And what are we supposed to be doing? The opposite, whatever the mainstream tell us to do. Because most of that shit, you end up in a worse position than you was if you didn't follow that shit. So you'd be better off just using your own inner guidance system than effing around with what the mainstream media is telling you.
Right.
They always telling us some shit that's going to get us in a trap. Or have us believing or watching some shit that's just complete scripted and made up, but they want us to look at it like it's real.
Yeah, like
that's the type of shit right there that we have to get rid of. It's that mindset of being gullible and believing what the hell they tell us what it is. And then people be wholehearted about defending that information. that false information that they give us. People be protecting that shit. Like, damn, you protecting the information that's actually causing all the corruption and causing all the pain and suffering because we believe in some false shit that they put out there to basically trick our minds and to trick our minds into slavery without us even thinking that it's slavery. That's the crazy thing about it. We're born so far into it that we don't even know that we're enslaved to all this manipulation that they got going on. And the thing is, a whole nation that don't believe that they're slaves, they never fight to be free because they already think that they are free.
They think they already free.
And I think the pain and suffering is because they not living up to society. All the pain and suffering that they having, they think is their fault because they not living up to the system, not realizing the whole system is a gag. It's a whole trick, a magician's trick.
Right.
So you will never feel like you good enough because you're not supposed to feel like you're good enough. That's what the system is there for.
Exactly.
They literally built an invisible prison around us. Like when they say the worst type of slavery is in your mind, that's the word. It ain't nothing worse than that, because when it's in your mind like that and you think that's how things supposed to be, you will never fight to be free, ever. You will never fight to be free. You just gonna always be in a state of imprisonment that you created because you believe in the shit that the system is telling.
Right.
It's a perfect form of prison. They actually calculated this shit down to the T. And one of the biggest forms of that prison is lying to us and creating these stories like this Epstein shit and all that. Constantly putting that in our faces, Diddy and all that. Like they love doing that because they know how we respond, like in our psyche.
Right.
They know how we respond in our psyche. And all it does is make people judge each other even more, to the point where social media opinion determines whether a person is guilty or not guilty. Because they able to change our perception based off what they through social media now. So that's how pinpoint accurate it is now. People are so easily gullible that they see something online or they see something on a television set and it gets into your mind so deeply that you believe it, and they know exactly how to trigger your emotions for you to make certain decisions and feel a certain way, a type of certain thing about a certain particular thing. That's remote mind control that's so deep that we don't even realize it's happening to us. We don't even realize how it's happening. Like how our minds is literally being taken over by all this media and shit. Like, don't let a timeline or algorithm dictate, you know what I mean, how you perceive things. Because once you do that, they got you. Once they do that, they got you. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of us are got. A lot of us are got because our mindsets are so heavily influenced about what the mainstream or the social media thing says, that we make decisions based on that, which means they got us.
Right.
Which means they got us. Nah, they ain't got the people who's tuning in and understanding this message. Because for us to even be able to talk like this, and for people to even be able to relate to this, to these understandings, we're already breaking out of that programming. Because most people don't even get to the mindset to even know that you're being manipulated through the media and now social media. Most people don't even know. They don't even realize it.
Social media.
Yeah, social media. And the thing is, I feel like social media is really anti-social. All them fake ass friends that everybody got. You would have 10 million friends on Facebook and Instagram and all that collectively, but don't have one real friend in real life.
Right. Facts.
So that's the illusion, right? That's one of the biggest modern illusions that's going on in real time right now, is that you could be so popular and have so many friends on social media, but don't got no damn friends in real life. You actually, once you turn that screen off, you lonely.
Facts. That's true.
I mean, that's one of the biggest psyops, and that right there is a prison.
Yeah, that's the way.
Isolated solitude. Yeah.
Right. That's an easy way for them to actually, for people, and you think about this too, people barely even know who their neighbors are now. Like, remember, we come from a generation where you knew who your neighbors were. It's like people spoke to their neighbors. Say, you don't even know who the hell you living next to now. Like all this shit was basically geared towards, yeah, I mean, keep people separated, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. From
And
the
the thing
virtual
is,
world to your
they
real
be
life, all
following
that
their
shit.
neighbor on Facebook and still not know who they are.
Right. That's exactly. Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. Yeah, they pushed everybody online and consolidated everything for the simple fact that it's easily controlled. They can use artificial intelligence to actually track and trace everybody. It's hard to do that from a it's hard to do that for how things are now with far as like people not being, you know, on the grid and shit like that. Like it's hard to track people. Really, they had to do it through a certain, sense. They had to take census. They had to take all these different surveys and shit to understand what people mind at and to see where people at, as far as like, what people's minds is like when it comes to them putting out certain agendas, right? To go along with it. Now, people just willingly telling you on social media how they feel about shit. The comment sections, what you writing on your social media, all that shit is geared towards them be able to hey, look, just look a bunch of shit going on with the Epstein shit. Look, all types of shit going on in this footage. But yeah, that's the way to control and track people the way they want to, is by consolidating all the information, putting online, pushing everybody, gearing everybody towards the internet, pushing everything online so everybody can be easily watched. It's hard to watch people if you really, because that'd be a lot of manpower to actually try to physically watch every individual. Now they just put shit in your hand, like tracking devices in your hand, which is our cell phones. Now they're able to see what everybody.
I have another contract for you, Agent 47. Your target is named Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I'm saying? Or some
Right.
Agent 47 type shit. You already know.
Right. So you mean to tell me somebody was I believe he probably did hang himself in that cell, but it wasn't what everybody else think it was as far as him hanging himself. Nah, he's an agent. He already knew what he had to do when it came to him. When he got figured out and all the shit that they wanted us to know about Epstein, and they pushed all this shit out there, him being persecuted in the courts and for sex trafficking minors and shit like that. He already knew he was the face of that shit, that he had to basically take the fall. He know that he's the fall guy. Epstein was the fall guy, man. The people that Epstein was working for are still operating right now as we speak online. A lot of sex trafficking minors and women against their will is still going on now at this very moment while we speak, talking about Epstein, the nigga that took the fall and hung himself in the cell. Because he was dead anyway. It's like, all right, well, I'm in jail. I know I'm dead anyway, so I might as well go ahead and take myself out before they even try to even come and get me. Oh, he was dead anyway. Whether he was free or whether he was in jail, he was dead anyway because it was his time to go. Sorry, it's time for this agent to go here. It's the fall guy. It's time for the fall guy to go. Epstein was the fall guy, and they basically had to dispose him. So who's the next? All they do is replace him with somebody else. All he do is get replaced with somebody else anyway. He get taken out, they move the next person in position. So you think with Epstein dying and Gaisling going to jail that the operation stops? Nah, they just put new people in position. That's it.
That's why there's no client list.
Right.
The clients are still operating.
Right. Yeah, the
clients
yeah.
got so much money and so much influence and so much power
Right.
that they're able to keep their names out of the media.
Facts. Yeah, because if you have sex trafficking going on, you have people that's higher ups that's into placing bids and shit. Then where's the yeah, who's gonna be the customers for the operation? You're not gonna lock up the client list. They're the ones that's the customers for the operation. They're the clientele. So being as though there's no list, then why they might as well go ahead, but we know they ain't gonna never let Gaisling out. But if there's no list, then why is Gaisling locked up? It's no point. It's no point, bro. That makes no sense to me. Hey, because you think about like, all right, they got charged with sex trafficking minors. Like, then who the hell did they sell those bodies to? Who's they trafficking to? Who is these individuals out here that's buying up minors on the market? They ass need to be investigated, right? Right? So it really is a list. That's why I said when the media put out there's no list. Nah, it's really a list because who the hell is they trafficking to?
That's because the people who's supposed to be doing something about it, their names are on that list.
Their names on that list. Facts.
So if you got a whole list filled with the people who's supposed to be doing something about the list, and they on the list themselves, you think that list ever gonna come out?
Right. Now yeah, like right. You make you think like, why would there even be a list anyway for some criminal fucking activities?
But
we know that
they got to keep some type
secret
of book
books
somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to say the secret books they got to keep. Yeah, right. Because they got to be able to keep track of who's who.
Right. And their contributions.
Right, contributions, facts. Yeah, who they are in society.
Yeah, I can see this Epstein character being like a host, not even a VIP, but actually a host.
Yeah, like a host. Right.
He's hosting the Squid Games or the Hunger Games behind the scenes for these rich folks.
Right. Yeah, let me forward this a little bit because the time. See, he died. So they said Epstein died on the 10th, 6 a.m. in the morning. So all this shit was great. Like, all right, so I want to see. I want to keep going. All right, so we up to 11 at night. Let's see if there any activity going into the morning. So they said the guards fell asleep, right? They said wasn't no motion going on, right? All right, so let's just check through all this footage. All right, this is the 10th. We had 1:58 in the morning. Let's just keep going. Almost at 3 o'clock in the morning. Look like some movement going on over there to me.
This might not even be the prison.
This might not even be the real footage,
bro.
This might not even be the real footage. Facts.
Nobody never even seen Epstein in any of this footage.
Hell
like
no.
seeing his actual face and seeing that he was there. This shit could have came from anywhere, bro.
Could have been from anywhere, bro. Facts. That's true.
This footage could have came from anywhere, y'all. That's how manipulated it all is.
There's some activity going on. The motherfuckers moving around out there. If we going by this footage, there's a lot of motherfuckers moving around out there. There's people move. Look, guards walking by. Oh, so guard was asleep, right? This is an hour before he actually hung himself in the cell. So niggas was supposed to be asleep. Damn, look like some guards walking around to me. Look, even the guard came up. The lady guard came upstairs. Look, trying to get to it. Hold on. Yeah, they walking around out there. Look, they over there walking around and shit. It's 5:30 in the morning. They said he killed himself at 6 something in the morning. Yo, usually they give a count. You know, they give a count in the morning and all that shit anyway. All right. Look, guard walking around and shit. Yeah, bro. Like you said, this might not even be the footage, but according to them,
sitting here analyzing some shit that might not even Epstein might
but
nowhere.
yeah, but according to them, right? According to them, they said that basically all the guards they fell asleep and shit. Right? That's what according to them, according to the information that came out, they didn't know, you know, what was going on. They fell asleep and you know, they didn't find them until, you know, 6 something in the morning and shit, right? All right, so this is way past him around the time he killed. All right, so this is supposed to be around the time he killed himself, right? It's 6:14 a.m. in this footage. Well, there's guards and shit walking around. According to this footage right here, we don't even know if this could be the real footage or not.
Exactly. We don't even
suppose
know anywhere in there.
Right. Bro, then they said the 2 guards disappeared. The guards that got fired, they don't even know where the hell them guards at. I said, shit, they could be dead somewhere. Them guards be somewhere dead somewhere. Or paid all. Look, the lady guard walking around there. It's 6:27. Look, they active as shit. They active as shit. Now he's supposed to be in this song, hung in his cell around this time. They active as shit. And they said they falsified some reports too. They said the guards and shit, they falsified some reports.
I don't believe no
I don't believe none of
footage
them
that they
the
put out there
mainstream media.
because
Right.
Yeah, when the mainstream media put
none of that
footage
shit.
out there, I don't never trust it because it's always either edited in a certain way or what they claim it is. It ain't it at all.
Right.
And Jeffrey Epstein probably not even in this damn prison. It's some random prison from somewhere.
Right. It could be some random footage. It could
Yeah,
be
some
actually
random ass
no,
footage.
or it could be footage of the prison that he in, but it's not necessarily be the footage that pertains to Epstein.
Right.
I mean, you could put the time and date on any goddamn thing.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm making. This could be footage from at a time of the prison where Epstein wasn't even in that motherfucker. Like Epstein is nowhere in that prison, but they got the footage here saying that's his cell. How we know that's his cell? We didn't see him walk in and out of that cell.
Nah, his cell was
not in this video.
Yeah, his
They
cell
claim
was
some little dude walking there. You can't even see who the hell is down there. So I was like, oh, that's Epstein right there.
Yeah, his cell is
How
220.
the
So
hell?
his cell is not even, the camera's not even facing his cell. His cell's somewhere on the tear on the other side some damn where. This is
Yeah,
I mean,
but he might not even be in this motherfucker at all at this time.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
they
Right,
put this
right.
footage out there.
Right. Yeah, right. It's no other angles. This is the only angle we got. You mean to tell me this is the
They ain't
only
give us no
freaking
proof.
camera? Right. You mean to tell me they don't have no cameras closer down there to where he was supposedly walking past? You mean to tell me this is the only camera y'all got they got set up? Hell no, it's cameras all in this motherfucker, bro.
But why didn't
If
they
they-
never show us no footage
right,
of him actually coming in and out of that cell?
right,
to
right. If they
let us know that that's his cell.
well, his cell ain't in this video. His cell like on the other side somewhere. Yeah, this is not his cell. His cell
And how the
is
fuck are we supposed to?
exactly.
This
How we
how
supposed
this
to know
goes
that's
to show you
Epstein
how
from this one angle?
exactly.
Yeah, they playing games. Yeah, the Diddy trial kind of died down. They need some other shit to keep our minds occupied, and that's this bullshit right here that they put out there. This fake. I'm until we know that's really Epstein. This is fake ass footage to me,
It damn sure is.
right? Because we don't even know if that's Epstein or not. We don't even know if this footage even pertains to some damn Epstein. This could be a random ass day. And they can slap a date and time on any goddamn footage.
They sure can.
So until they show us a close up of Epstein in this frame from another angle, then I'll believe it. Right now, this is some fake ass footage they just threw out there to keep our ass distracted, and that's where we gonna go off of.
That was my mindset from the beginning.
Right.
I was like, how we know this is even
Exactly
the prison that Epstein? We don't know. This is a random ass clip with no Epstein in it. Epstein ain't nowhere in this clip.
Nowhere near it, bro.
And they telling us, yeah, we don't know what the hell they showing us.
Like we said, that could have been a
what the
random
hell they
ass.
showing us.
That could have been a random ass guy just walking past. That they escorting him to his cell. Some random ass dude. Let me go back to this. This was hold on. Let me see.
That just goes to show you how they look at the public. That we're that dumb. That they could release some shit out like this and that we'll believe it. They think that we all believe it. That's they look on us.
Right.
We look that dumb to them. We're that dumbed down to them that they can release some shit like this and make us think that it's real.
Shit crazy. Oh man, they be on some nut shit. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't believe this shit. Cause it's mighty convenient that they dropped this footage right after the Diddy shit died down. Now I ain't buying it. Somebody says this Zesty channel. Nah, this is you Zesty block. Cause you ain't got to be here.
He looking for the Zesty channel.
Yeah, nah, this ain't the Zesty channel, bro. Sorry.
For the Zesty channel.
Right. Yeah, this ain't it.
They got to go somewhere else. But yeah, man, they put anything out there and hope that we believe that shit. And yeah, a lot of us are dumb. Unfortunately, yeah, a lot of us are dumb. You're right. Pleasant gift. Yeah, a lot of us are dumb when it comes to this type of stuff. We believe any old thing that they tell us on the media. But those of us who really been paying attention and we don't lie to ourselves and we see reality for what it is, we realize that most of the shit that they put out there in the media is fake.
Hell yeah.
Most of it. Majority of it is fake. 80%. It'd be like 80 to 90% lies. It'd be like 10% of truth in there.
Right.
You know, all
when it comes to certain,
lies.
Yeah, when it comes to shit like this where there's a bigger situation taking place, whether there's a war or shit like this, like Epstein cases and shit like that. I don't believe, like, you might more so believe your local news when they reporting on some shit that's happening within the area. You see what I'm saying? Or shooting, or domestic violence, that type of news. You know what I mean? But when it comes to shit like this, I don't trust it.
Nah.
I don't trust shit like this when it's media coverage like this, where they cover some big shit that's happening. I don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't trust none of that shit, bro.
Nah. Nope.
I mean, we seen them do the same tricks over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like we was just telling y'all earlier, like how they used to do with the Bin Laden tapes in the early 2000s.
They used to chop that footage up.
Chop that old ass footage up.
And commentary over it. And that I believe a lot of that Bin Laden shit was from the 80s. That was
a lot of that Bin Laden
shit was going
late
on.
70s and the 80s when he was working for Afghanistan and the United States when they was going against Russia.
Yeah. I believe a lot of that footage of the Taliban and all that shit.
Yeah,
that shit was from the early 80s. Yeah, that shit was from the early 80s, bro.
I mean, it don't be fake, but it don't be what they say it is.
Yeah, It's like
they have some voiceover. They make the video silent and they have voiceovers with them just talking over it and shit, telling you what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that shit was fake when they allowed CNN to go supposedly interview Osama bin Laden at the time he was wanted by the CIA. I'm like, all right, so how the CNN know where he at, but the CIA don't? That shit don't sound. How the hell CNN get a?
Remember CNN went into his living room while he was watching TV, my nigga.
Yeah, but they went to the tent, like the cave or tent, wherever he was supposed to be at, and they sat there and interviewed him. The interview is still on YouTube. So you mean to tell me CNN had access to that nigga, but the CIA ain't know where he was at? That's crazy as shit, bro. That's when, bro, we was on to that shit.
Yeah, we was on that shit early.
We was on that shit at the very beginning because we like, well, how the hell CNN is interviewing this thing? Like when it came across on the TV, and they showed him interviewing the CNN interviewing Osama bin Laden during the time he was wanted by the CIA. Instantly, we was like, well, how the CNN get the interview, but the CIA don't know where he at? That shit crazy, bro. This is like the early 2000s. We was already.
How they get a tape every other week?
Yeah, every other.
They actively saying we can't find where Osama bin Laden at, but them niggas got a new tape every. Yeah,
he sent it during the time of CD, DVDs and shit. This nigga still sending in old ass tapes.
VHS tapes.
He's sending in old ass. You mean to tell me Osama bin Laden didn't have a goddamn DVD burner? Oh, he just sending in old ass VHS tapes every week. Every week they saying they got a new tape from Osama bin Laden, bro. They play games in our face with that shit, bro. All right, he ain't have a CD burner. He was still sending in old ass VHS tapes. Nah, that's because all that VHS tape shit was from the early 80s. And
late 70s, early 80s.
And they just chopped all that shit up and did commentary over it, and they had us believing Osama was sending in tapes every week.
Yeah, because in one video he'll look old as shit with a full beard, and the next video he'll look real young, and his beard ain't as long. Like, what? How is this a new tape and he look younger this week? How does a nigga look younger this week?
Right.
How you look older last week and look younger this week?
Maybe
like it was a whole lot of different things that you could tell this shit was fake. And I'm starting to see the same thing with all this Epstein footage, and they edited the hell out of the hotel beating Cassie hotel beat, and they edited the hell out of that. It's just like the way they do things, you know what I'm saying, in a way that where it's manipulated.
Right. Yeah, that shit crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do a lot of.
somebody asked, do we still think voting matter? You know, how I'm gonna act? I gotta ask that question with a question. I gotta answer that question with a question. We've been voting for how long? Have we seen any changes yet? We had everybody up in that, both parties up in that motherfucker just chilling. Some doing 4 years, some doing 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Some missing the 4 years, come back to do another 4 years. Have we seen any change from any? No matter what party's in there, have we seen any changes in this damn society?
And did voting change anything in your personal life? Just think about that. You going to vote? Did it really make a difference in your life?
Some people it did, but it's a very small percentage compared to everybody.
The majority.
To the majority, yeah.
When you go to I mean, that's a legit question. When you go to the voting booth and you vote for whatever politician they put in front of you, because that's what you really voting for, whoever they stick in front of your ass. There's no grassroots movements going on when it comes to shit like that. You get to choose whoever they stick in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So just think, have that changed anything in your personal life? You standing in line and voting, supposedly putting a politician in office. Did it change? Did any of those presidents change any of your lives? Personally?
And people in their mindset think if they vote for a particular person, that's going to make a change, when that particular person got to play the game of politics when they get in there. And the game of politics is very different than what we think it is, being the general public. That's the thing. They got codes that they follow that the general public don't know about. It's basically them against us. Even the one that you trusted locally, you think he going to do the right thing. Very seldom do they do the right thing. They do whatever benefits them, and politics is set up in a way to where the politician, the only way they can be successful for their families and themselves to be successful, they gotta basically screw the public in some type of way. That's how politics is set up. Even if you like the guy, you like the charisma, you like what he say to you, but the actions still never line up because they can't. The actions can't line up to what they say. The actions got to line up to where it protect the politicians, and the general public gets screwed. I don't know why people don't see that yet. I don't care how much you know what I mean, you think that you know a politician, or you read all about him, you went to some of his little community gatherings and all that. He was nice to you, he shook your hand and all. None of that shit matters when it comes down to the everyday decision of the politician. That's only going to benefit politicians, and the general public is always screwed in the end. 100% of the time, the general public is screwed in the end. I don't know why people don't see that. It don't matter who the fuck you vote for. None of that matters. I don't care what level of government you vote for. It's not going to never change anything. People have gotten their favorite politicians in there, and the shit still didn't work out for them. Some people who voted for Trump is saying, I wish I never voted for him. People who have voted for Biden said they wish they never had voted for him. It's the same shit. On all levels of the government, the politicians have to protect themselves over the general public. And at the end of the day, the general public always get the short end of the stick 100% of the time. That's real politics, if you know. I don't give a fuck how much you shook that man's hand. If you, my local I trust him. I met him. I met him at a luncheon that we had. And he was really nice to me at a luncheon. Because he has to be. He's a politician. He got two different personalities. They got the personality you're supposed to see as a general public, and then they have the politician side of things that you're not going to see. It's all political theater. None of the politicians don't give a shit about none of y'all. None of them do. I don't care I don't care who they are. They don't give a shit about you. They don't. And then the thing is, they before they sell their own ass out, they sell the public out quick. Majority of them do. I don't know why people don't see this yet. And anybody, these major corporations, I don't know how the hell we could trust them. They just see people as cattle. They just see people as a number inside of a system. So you got these politicians, you got these big corporations that we're constantly buying their products and feeding into their propaganda. Their products are poisoning us. Their information is poisoning us. These politicians are selling us out to these major corporations for money. Like that's all we see. Like I don't know why people even bring up this voting and all this bullshit, because things never had changed. Marching don't change nothing. Niggas be marching all day. Niggas be out there marching. No justice, no peace. All that screaming that shit, wasting your time out there to get nowhere. To get nowhere. All that shit do is just make somebody some money on a low, because that's basically what it is. And who usually make the money? The mainstream media makes the money reporting on it. So it's a perfect system for them. They love when you march. They love getting that footage when niggas get fed up in March. But people only get fed up in March based off the things that the media want you to be mad about. People is never mad when they supposed to be mad. They're mad when the media tell them to be mad.
Exactly.
Like people was out there marching for the George Floyd shit because the media told you to do that. If the media never said anything, just said, "Oh, just another drug addict that got killed," people will just look at it like, "Yeah, that's just another drug addict got killed." But when the media tell you, "Oh, you gotta get justice for George Floyd," when the media tell you to do it, you're gonna be out there marching because the media told you to do that. So let's just be real. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and that's the
truth,
type
though,
mind
man.
control is selective outrage. And the reason why it's selective, because same thing with the whole R. Kelly shit. Everybody knew R. Kelly pissed on that girl decades ago. But when the feds went back after R. Kelly, you know what I'm saying, then people got outraged. But all those years in between, from him peeing on a little girl to him getting arrested, all that time in between that, people were still buying his albums and rocking out to R. Kelly. As soon as the media tell you to get mad at R. Kelly, you know what I mean? Or that's when, R. Kelly's a pedophile and all that. But y'all was rocking out to his music all those years after y'all seen the tape where he peed on a little girl. So that's selective outrage. Because most people who was still rocking out to R. Kelly was around during the time that tape was circulating, showing R. Kelly peeing on that little girl.
Yeah.
So all that time in between that, you know what I mean, since the media was rocking with him, oh, he's all good. But as soon as the media say, you know what I'm saying, oh, we got to go after R. Kelly for this and that, now all of a sudden he's the bad guy again.
Yeah, because the media control with people's see, the media got a way to tapping into the psyche of people's emotions, and so they able to make people get outraged about whatever they want people to be outraged about. And the stuff they don't want you to know, they just keep it out of the public. Yep, they just keep it out of the public. Yep.
Exactly.
They don't bring no attention to whatever they don't want you to find out. They put no attention on it. That's why we say you gotta do your own research when it comes to things, because it's some things, most of the things the media, most of the truth, the media never gonna talk about. They never gonna talk about the truth. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know about this. I don't know about this new Epstein footage. It's kind of yeah, I don't know about I don't know.
Looks like some random footage to me, fam.
Yeah. A lot of shit was going on. Around the time they said people was supposedly sleeping, all that, a lot of activity.
That shit is crazy.
Right. Shit crazy. I don't know. Y'all think this footage is the real Epstein footage? Y'all let us know in the comments below, man.
And this is sponsored by nightandayherbals.com.
Let them know. Let them know.
I mean, a lot of y'all, we definitely thank all of y'all who've been supporting us, you know, buying natural products. If y'all don't know, we got natural herbal products. We got CBD, naturally grown CBD on our shop. We got wild Irish sea moss. We got soaps and body oils, all types of natural detox products and all of that. So if you guys are interested in your health and everything like that, check out our shop, man. We got a lot of good things on there. 5 stars on Google. You can look us up. Good customer service. And for those of y'all who ordered from us, a lot of y'all products should be seeing. Yeah, I mean, y'all should be getting a lot of y'all products in the mail either today or tomorrow. We got a lot of y'all orders out this week, so
yeah.
And shout out to y'all who've been supporting the movement.
Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all need y'all to subscribe to this channel. Double tap the screen, like this video. And man, that concludes this live stream. Might be back later on live. Might cover some other things, but until then, I mean, share this live stream if you can, and subscribe to this channel, man.
Right.
Back at y'all. That conclude this live stream. We up out of here.
Shop now at nightandayherbals.com and enjoy 35% off all our herbal CBD products. Automatically applied at checkout.